Hello students, welcome to our channel SD Biology classes. In my last few videos, I have discussed about the plant tissue, permanent type of tissue, simple tissue, and also we have discussed about the complex permanent tissue. Today, I am going to talk about some of the important questions from plant tissue. So let's start it. So students, here we have 6 most important questions from the plant tissue part. First of all, we will talk about that meristematic cells have a prominent nucleus with dense cytoplasm but lack vacuoles. Why? Meristematic tissues or the cells are mainly present in the growing region of the plant and they usually don't have any intercellular space. They have dense cytoplasm because in the cytoplasm the nutrients as well as the enzymes that help in the dividing or in the division of the meristematic cells, those are present. Secondly, they have prominent nucleus because high nuclear content is present and the nucleus has to divide. At the time of division of the meristematic cells, nucleus has to divide and give rise to another daughter nuclei. That's why they have prominent dense nucleus. And why do they lack vacuoles? They don't have any reserve food material, storage compound, excretory substances as well as any secretory substances. All these substances can be stored in the vacuoles. As they don't have all these substances, they do not need any vacuole-like structure. Don't need any vacuole-like structure. And on the other hand, as the cells have dense cytoplasm and prominent nucleus, so there is no place of the vacuole also, no place of vacuole. So the meristematic cells have a prominent nucleus with dense cytoplasm but it lacks vacuoles. Now we have another question, that is, it is difficult to pull out the husk of coconut fruit. Why? The coconut fruit. Husk of coconut fruit means the outer coat of coconut. It is also called as the husk. Now the outer coat of coconut is made up of the sclerenchymatous tissue. And sclerenchyma tissue is dead cell at maturity, is made up of dead cells at maturity with highly thickened cell wall. So it is very hard. That's why it is very difficult to pull out the husk of coconut fruit. Students, here we have another question, that is, what do you mean by differentiation and redifferentiation? First of all, we will talk about differentiation. The meristematic cells are always in the dividing stage. The cells which are always divide, the meristematic cells which are always divide, they are also called as the initiating cell. They divide and gives rise to the cells which are also called as the derivatives. Now the derivatives again function as the initiating cell, or sometimes the derivatives enlarge in size, mature and lose the power of division. That means sometimes there are some changes occur in the derivatives or the cells which are formed by the division of the meristematic cells. Those cells enlarge in size, mature and lose the power of division. And as a result, change into the cells of the permanent tissue. This process of changing of the derivatives or the meristematic tissue into the permanent tissue is called as the differentiation. So, the process by which the cells which are formed by the division of the meristematic tissue, the cells which are formed, those change into or those develop, enlarge, mature and loss of power of division and then change into the permanent tissue. This process of changing of the meristematic tissues into the permanent tissue is called as the differentiation. Now, what is de-differentiation? De-differentiation, from the term we can understand that it is just opposite of the differentiation. That means what? When the permanent tissue again gain the power of division and change into the meristematic nature, then it is called as the de-differentiation. That means as a result of de-differentiation, we are getting secondary meristematic tissues. From the permanent tissue. Again I am telling, permanent tissue, if the cells of the permanent tissue again regain the power of division, that means they change into the meristematic in nature, they start dividing. Then this process is called as the de-differentiation, and as a result we are getting secondary meristematic tissue. That means cells of the permanent tissues are changed into the secondary meristematic tissue. Now we have question number 4. Name 2 specific regions of plant where sclerenchyma tissues are present. It can be present in the leaf vein, in the stem, and specifically around the vascular bundle. Around the vascular bundle of leaf veins or around the vascular bundle of the stem. Another one, it is present in the outer coat of fruit or seed. So, these are the 2 regions where we can see the sclerenchymatous tissue. Students, now we have the question number 5, that is write down the differences between cells of epidermis and the Koch cells. What is the differences in the epidermal cell as well as in the Koch cell? So here we have some important differences between epidermal cell and the Koch cell. First of all, when is epidermal cells are formed? It is formed during the primary growth of the plant, whereas Koch cells are formed during the secondary growth of the plant. Epidermal cells are formed from which type of cell? That is, due to division of which cells epidermal cells are formed? It is formed due to the division of primary meristem, whereas it is formed due to the division of the secondary meristem, and specifically it is called as cork cambium. Usually we can see the epidermal cells form a single layer, that is, usually they are present in a uniseriate manner, in a single row. But in case of Koch cell, always they are present in multiple row or multiseriate. Now, another difference we have, that on the outer side of the epidermal cell we can see cutin is present, whereas on the outer side of Koch cell suberin is present. But one similarity is there. It is not given here, but remember that one similarity is find out that both the layers are protective in nature. Both the layers are protective in nature, as well as due to presence of cutin in some cases and due to presence of suberin, both the layers are resistant to water loss. Epidermis in some cases. So here we have some of the important differences between cells of epidermis and the similarities between the epidermis cell and the Koch cells. Now we are discussing question number 6. Differentiate between parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma on the basis of cell wall only. Usually it has thin cell wall, whereas collenchyma has thick cell wall and thickening are only at the corner of the cell. Whereas sclerenchyma cells are having thick cell wall and it has homogeneous thickening. Homogeneous thickening. Here, the chemical composition of the parenchymatous cell. Chemically, it is mainly made up of cellulose. But in case of collenchyma, we get cellulose, hemicellulose, as well as pectin, and also high amount of water. Whereas in case of sclerenchymatous tissue, we get cellulose and lignin and also less amount of water. These two are the important differences if we observe the cell wall or if we consider the cell wall of parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchymatous tissue. So students, we have discussed some of the important questions from the plant tissue part. In the next video, we will discuss some more questions from this portion. Thank you.